In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fragments of Silicon. The year may be new, but the fragments are the same old thing.
Happy 2018, 2018, whatever you want to call it, whatever numeric.
Year after the last hell year.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a different show. I'm like, as far as games went, it was
last year was actually a pretty good video game year.
Yeah, actually, maybe one of the greatest years ever, like ever. You know, but we're not going to be talking about those games for the most part. We're going to be talking about our games this week. More on that in a bit. But as always, I'm your host, Adam. This is Fragments of Silicon. It's going to be a lighter show than usual, mainly because our guest canceled out at the last minute. So yeah, we're not going to have that interview with Bandai Namco about Last Recode. You know, things have kind of moved forward for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at least we got the game codes.
Yep.
Anyway, joining me as always is the regular crew. Ogre.
It's snowy and cold, but I kind of like it, so I'm good with that.
Petty Fan.
It's cold. Send help.
Twilight.
I'm liking the cold.
And Gullet.
Hello.
I mean, the cold is driving my cat crazy, but
It is also driving my cat crazy because she's from California.
yeah, like I live in Florida. We're not used to this kind of cold. At least it's not snowing because, yeah, it's like for people who don't know the South, you know, this far south, we don't have snow tool infrastructure. The snow shovels, winter tires, all that, you know, plows, salt trucks, all that jazz. That doesn't exist because, you know, you're generally not expecting it to snow here in Florida.
Also, if it gets below freezing, there's a very real possibility of you guys blowing fire hydrants. Because in the south, they use wet wells instead of dry wells up here in northern areas.
It's like heating systems. Like heating systems down here. We use heat pumps.
Right.
You know, and guess what? You know, and those freeze pretty easy at that temperature. So, you know, yeah, we could go on and on about this, but let's
Learning
get to
is fun.
the regular news. Petty Fan, why don't you start us off because you've been having more problems.
Well, last week I wanted to stream, but I guess it came down with like some sort of stomach bug or something, so that was fun. Spent 2 weeks, or yeah, 2 days on the couch, just like, what the fuck is life anymore?
Better damn well not have been 2 weeks. We're not training a new tank.
And then yesterday, after raid, my computer decided that it just wanted to give up on me, kind of, and I had to reinstall Windows. So I've been...
Now.
Do what?
How old is your computer?
It's gonna be 7 years in October, I think.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I need a new one desperately. But that involves money.
Yes. Something you kind of lack.
Yep.
Time to start a charity drive.
Let's see. Other than that, not a whole lot's been going on.
Well, how was your holidays?
Oh, right.
Get anything big or?
Not really. It's been fairly, you know, we had a fairly light Christmas this year. Like, I got some, like, Skylander stuff that was on clearance and some, um, what was it? Oh, like a PlayStation gift card. So, yeah. Outside of that, not a whole lot. So I guess next victim.
Ogre?
Well, the holidays were quite nice. I got a bunch of stuff. I got a new smartphone.
Oh man.
It's a Galaxy. It's a Samsung Galaxy J3 Luna Pro.
Mm.
Leagues better than the phone I had. I'm subtly getting used to everything because it's like it like works and does stuff that the other phone couldn't do.
You should be able to play Pokemon Go with that if you
That's
really wanted
one of the
to.
first things I checked was like, wait a minute. Hey, it says I can uninstall Pokemon Go. This is a game changer if I actually played that game.
I would not recommend playing that game right now.
I don't really care. That involves me going outside, and I'm not doing that.
Nice point.
Maybe in the spring.
I did buy a couple things for it afterwards. I bought a new little phone case for it. It's quite nice. It's got a little resilience to it, so even if I drop it, it'll be fine. It's also got a little kickstand too, so I can just prop it up however I want. And I got a memory card for it, which I'm gonna have to figure out how to make sure most of the stuff I have goes straight to it. I think the camera automatically did that, but
yeah,
I'll figure that stuff. I'll ask that stuff after.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to set up if you need help.
Let's see. Other than that, I got just some other niceties, like some new pajama bottoms, which I've been desperately needing. What else did I get? I think the phone was kind of the big thing, but
yeah, I'd imagine.
But yeah, it was pretty good. I got Naka a set of those Homestar Runner figurines for his Christmas present. Let's see.
Did he get you anything?
No, he didn't need to. Like I said last year, since he got me that that graphics card, I was like, that covers like Christmas and birthdays for like that year and this year, so I think I'm good there. Let's see. Recordings are going fine. We recorded plenty before Christmas, so we could be off for Christmas. So
and I'm guessing New Year's too?
No, we recorded New Year's Day, but that's New Year's Day. Who's really doing much?
Exactly.
Most people are either just up and awake as normal, or most people are going, "Oh, what did I drink last night? And why do I have this big jug in my hand?"
Yeah, New Year's Day is mostly like an almost federal day off, primarily for like global hangover day reasons.
Yeah. But yeah, we got back to recording. We're still doing Doom because we kind of, I guess, misjudged how long that was going to be. I really thought we wouldn't be going into 2018 with it, but it is Doom, so not much is lost.
I mean, it's a $60 game, so
yeah.
Of course, it's going to be large.
Let's see. Also, apparently this year is our 10th year anniversary of doing Let's Plays, so...
Jesus.
I know, 10. Isn't that a shock?
It's surprising how much shit is turning 10 this year.
I think at that point you're legally Let's Play married or something.
I guess. I don't know. I don't think it stops the internet from saying so, but if the internet said a lot... if a lot of what the internet said was law, we'd all be dead by now, so...
True. Something 2012?
Let's see. So we got some ideas for that. We're coming up with a list of games we would like to do to get off our plate so that we don't feel bad if we ever have to quit somehow. Title's a little long, but we can work it down later.
I mean, you've been doing shit for 10 years, so
Yeah.
I mean, that's unless like Naka moves away, I don't see you guys quitting, especially since
Yeah,
you know,
he's not moving anywhere anytime soon, far away, so.
you know, I mean, he's
But,
moved.
let's see. Other than that,
Yeah.
well, we do have something planned. I believe we have something planned special for the 10th year anniversary, so that should be kind of fun.
I know, I know there's a whole bunch of games you want to get off the.
Yeah, there's plenty. Trust me.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going anywhere anytime soon, but
I mean,
it's just nice to have a little docket of what we need.
Well, like there was one game you wanted to do this year that had an anniversary, if I recall. Like,
Nope, not got a clue. Anyway,
I'll mention it when we're off air. You know, don't.
other than that, it's been snowy, thankfully. It's Ohio. I want snow. But any other Ohioan who doesn't like it, you can come fight me about it. So it's been kind of nice. It just feels like winter to me when it's snowy. So, and yes, I know places don't have snow. It just feels snowy. It just feels like winter to me when it's snowy. So.
We're in Ohio, so snow is normal.
Yeah, the other past 2 years where we didn't have snow for a while wasn't normal. So. But other than that, and the cold, I think I'm pretty good over here.
All right, Twilight.
Well, Christmas was nice this year. I think everybody got what they wanted. I got some gift cards. I also got some new pajama bottoms as well, and a new pair of shoes. And so now, and we got a new TV to replace her old 20-some-year-old floor model one. Yeah. I think and everyone was about ready to give up to Ghost. Other things. Can't really think of much else that went on. Well, before the year was over with, I finally went and seen The Last Jedi. Enjoyed it pretty well. And I think there's something I'm forgetting about. Well, that'll be about it for me.
All right, Gallix.
It's been pretty balls cold here, for a couple of weeks, and we're forecast a blizzard-ish snowstorm tomorrow, so I'm already off from work, but not looking forward to that particularly. I also saw The Last Jedi, although not until no, wait, it was New Year's Day, wasn't it? I also enjoyed it. Let's see. Christmas was fun. My sister came up for a few days, and we went down and spent some time with the family. I got a mini Super Nintendo Classic and a bunch of Switch paraphernalia, like a Pro Controller and stuff. So that's fun. And nice new slippers, which you can never have warm enough slippers. I don't know. I was mostly been taking it pretty easy the last couple weeks, so I don't have a whole ton of exciting stuff to say.
Right. All right. I guess it's my go then.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, Christmas was really fucking quiet this year. But holidays are a lot quieter than they used to be since most of the family has moved out of the area. Yeah. Not something I particularly lament for various reasons. But yeah, it's just mother and I around. So went over to her place. We went out we actually did the Chinese food Christmas this year. Like, friend of hers took us to a Chinese buffet, which is all right. I particularly don't like buffet food, but it was there and I wasn't paying, so sure, why not? Let's see. For Christmas, I got clothes this year. I got a new pair of pants, a new pair of jeans, and a new coat, new sweatshirt. I don't have any thick coats because, once again, Florida.
Yeah, you shouldn't need them.
Yeah, it's one of those. Generally, you're not expected to have this. In fact, you might think I have a bit too much warm weather gear but where I am, we're in the temperate zone of Florida, so even without the climate change weather that's going on right now, it still gets cold here. Like, it'll still get in like the 50s and shit. It's just generally we're not expecting the near frozen level temperatures in the daytime. So outside of that, if you missed it, on New Year's we did some streaming. We played some Murder Miners, a game that you've probably never heard of. It's a game I think I got in a bundle once, and I had 3 copies literally lying around in my inventory, so we played about an hour of that. And it was a game.
I was apparently decent at it, surprisingly.
It's like, keep in mind, I was drunk and playing with a controller, so...
It's a first-person shooter where, like, the gimmick is that all the stages were basically made in Minecraft, and one of the guns lets you Minecraft the stages.
Yeah. And we also did some commentary for Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy HD, which we're reviewing this week. A programming note, we will be doing more commentary after the show because, well, this is going to be a pretty short one because after this, we just got the top and bottom list, and that's it. We've been off, and the way the schedule aligned, we didn't have time to get together and do a production meeting and plan out what topics we wanted to do. So we just got this top. It's not even a top or bottom 10 list. It's however many games we feel like listing.
Yeah.
Let's see. I already mentioned the gifts I gave to I and my mother gave to my brother out west. I actually got Naka some games that were super cheap. Let's see, I got him Deus Ex Game of the Year edition, Slave Zero, and The Fridge. I'm like, no idea if he's ever going to play those, but they were super cheap, and I felt like getting them. So, he thanked me for the gifts. Anyway, let's see. MSP notes. It's off season. Don't know exactly when it's returning. More on that as we have the information, basically. So, and I think that's about it for news. So with that in mind, we present the Fragments Silicon top and bottom games of 2017. Now, in overall terms of games, it's been a phenomenal year. A lot of people have been saying it's literally one of the best on record.
Loot box controversy aside, we still had some pretty amazing games this year.
Yeah, it's like the entire industry wasn't loot boxes, no matter what Jim Sterling says. I mean, from Super Mario Odyssey to Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which seems to be winning every Game of the Year award in existence.
Sonic Mania.
Persona 5. And, onward and onward it goes. We're not here to talk about those games because we didn't review any of those games.
Yeah.
Like, we review the games we get sent. Or, it goes free, and that's usually an older game from outside the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there are a few entries that, probably would have shown up in regular lists in another year.
Mhm.
But I mean, the year was so stacked with quality, like even a Hollow Knight kind of fell through the cracks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and we review games like nobody else does, like literally nobody else. Color Code comes to mind, mainly because I don't think I've mentioned this on air, but we actually got a letter from the developer thanking us for actually reviewing the game. Apparently they had handed out hundreds of codes, and we were the only ones who did a review of it. Like literally the only ones.
A bit depressing, but such is the industry.
Like, and there was further limitation of poor sales, and but still trudging onwards and all that stuff. Like, the game itself was decent-ish port, but it was kind of light on content.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple puzzle game. So,
but outside of that, we certainly had a variety of games. It's like, everything from visual novels, platformers, role-playing games, to the downright bizarre, like, a blackjack simulator or a cycling simulator.
To games that we didn't even think were ever going to come, across our desk, like Voodoo Vince or Dot Hack.
Yeah, like, our cross-section is an odd one, but it is ours. So, all right, so should we start with top or bottom?
I guess bottom?
All right, let's see. There were a few standouts in this category. Geez.
When you review the way we do, you do have the hazard of finding several games that just literally don't work.
Yeah, and on that note, our worst game of the year easily goes to X-Field Paintball 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
the word broken doesn't begin to describe what we experienced in that game.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was still technically playable, which is how we got to review it, but outside of how broken it was, it didn't leave that much of a lasting impression.
Yeah.
Like, the environments looked like shit, like literally like shit, a lot of brown.
Mm-hmm.
From what I remember, and honestly, I wasn't going to go back and play it with my memories.
The controls were abysmal.
Right. There was no fucking matchmaking. Everything was random.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think the game crashed. Like,
something like that. Yeah.
It just was fucking terrible, and we didn't even need to think about this one.
Yeah. Like there are some games that were kind of broken that still had a lot of heart, like Looter Kings. Like that's just a few updates away from being pretty good.
Right. But X-Field was just...
There was no salvaging that.
It was kind of surprising that they had as much the PR firm that they had. Like, I'm just glad that they don't listen to any of the reviews we put out. I mean, they send that to the developers. Like, jeez. Others. Deadly Edge. I feel bad because they know how buggy this game is. But that doesn't change the fact that this game, outside X-Field, was the buggiest I played all year.
Mm-hmm.
And we played a lot of games this year. We reviewed about 100 games. By the way, this is why we hardly ever finish games.
Yeah.
It's like we got like 2 games a week per week on average. So we have a week to play a game, and we don't it's like we're not structured to have like one person work on it for a length of time. So this is the way it has to be.
Yeah.
Let's see, Mario Chronicle, easily the most offensive game taste wise.
Yeah, like there was discussion of not actually showing that on stream. It was, levels of offensive.
Yeah, like it's the worst of Japan culture.
But worst of otaku culture.
Yeah, it's like, it's wrapped up in a fucking decentish, bland Etrian Odyssey clone. Like the game itself is.
This is a game where the problem is nothing to do with the gameplay, which is serviceable. It's entirely about just excessive degrees of perversion.
Yeah, if they dialed back the fan service, it'd be a pretty average game, maybe slightly above average, depending on how you feel about Etrian Odyssey clones.
Yeah, mind you, if you've listened to our reviews, we're not prudish or anything. It's just this features a lot of underage looking characters, as you do Japan, as you do.
Yeah.
Like, that, and it's the same. It's the fucking 1,000-year-old dragon excuse, except not necessarily that old. But they're all monster girls, so
And sometimes it's like with a 1,000-year-old dragon, there's a difference between a 1,000-year-old dragon that like looks young but acts like a 1,000-year-old dragon, and then a 1,000-year-old dragon that's like clearly this is just an excuse. And
right, it's like you fuckers know what you're doing, like. It's not even a good excuse, like. But yeah, Mario Chronicle was just unnervingly disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm like, outside of that, you're better service getting an Etrian Odyssey game.
And honestly, there are probably even better games for if you want like vaguely pervy action stuff, RPG stuff. So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we got Idea Factory's Fairy Fencer F.
Yeah.
I don't remember too much about that, but
it was fairly basic. But compared to the other stuff we've got from Idea Factory, it was a vast improvement.
Yeah. Or the Neptunia series, which shockingly we've never reviewed.
We've gotten a lot of the things that are like spin-offs or inspired by, but never actually it.
Maybe that changes one year. I think
they have one more coming out for PC, if I remember. So.
Yeah, I got a press release thinking about that. We'll see. Anyway, another terrible game was Old Time Hockey. Actually, subsequently has been renamed Bush League Hockey for, I don't know, probably copyright reasons. But this is a game that wanted to be something in the vein of the Midway Sports titles, but just didn't have the controls to back it up.
Yeah.
And it was fucking shockingly sluggish for the type of gameplay it was going for.
Yeah. And also, there wasn't very well laid out tutorial on how even to work it.
Honorable mention to, was it, sorry, we're still, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
More Spiral Splatter. This one was a very small puzzle game with it was basically the irritating stick.
Oh, fuck that one.
Yeah, I'm like,
I blocked that one out. Thanks.
Easily the worst controls experience this year.
Yeah, that game really wanted to be a touchscreen controls, and when you say that, that's it's terrifying.
Oh yeah. I'm like,
that's another case of you're on the wrong platform, friend.
Can I throw in an honorable mention for, was it Gladiator Sword of Vengeance? I think it was. It was only available to us on the Windows Store.
Yeah, I'm like, has come out on Steam subsequently, but when we were approached for review, it was only on the Windows Store.
Yeah, and it's kludgy and buggy as hell.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's an old game that was just re-released, and that's part of why. But still, not.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I was gonna mention that just for making us use the Windows Store. I'm like, oh
No
well,
offense, Windows, but your store is terrible.
yeah, but yeah, the game itself was a good reminder that not everything ages well.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, also on that list is Trick Style, because I don't think anyone, you know, speaking of bad control, there's this game. Like there was a trying to remember exactly which mechanic it was, but there was a mechanic I could never get working. Kind of
That's the
severely-
hoverboard one, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was the hoverboard game.
Yeah, I could not. There's some of the challenge things, and I could not complete some of them because I either couldn't hit enough of the targets or.
Yeah, I'm like, whew. You know, it's like perhaps not surprisingly, when I asked to review XG2, I never got a response back. I assume they actually listened to the review because yeah, we weren't, you know, we weren't high. Never End, like probably one of the shittiest games we played last year. If you remember that that was the bog standard looking Minecraft roguelike thing.
Yeah, the really wishes it had half the interesting design of the Binding of Isaac.
Mm-hmm. I'm like,
And like you die because you have to beat all the enemies to leave the room, and like you don't have any tools to beat the enemies with because you have to beat the enemies to get the tools.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Gameplay.
yeah, it's like kind of an honorable mention in Super Blackjack Battle 2 Turbo. Not a bad game in and of itself.
I mean,
But-
it's blackjack in a tournament setting.
Yeah, but
Like
kind
not
of,
even a real tournament like Street Fighter, except it's with blackjack.
well, yeah, it's got a Street Fighter homage motif, but it doesn't do anything with it,
Right.
and none of its characters like have a character.
Yeah, like
I
it'd be
like-
different if this was like a character arc or whatever. Even if it
Yeah,
was something campy Yu-Gi-Oh esque bullshit.
Or even if they were just like a minor different quirks, like this character always hits on an 18, even though that's stupid.
Hmm
Yeah, it's actually a straightforward blackjack simulator, and they asked for way too much money for it.
Yeah, you can get better options for, less or free on mobile.
Yeah, I'm like, or a PC for that matter.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, right. So I think that'll about. Oh no, did we cover Pro Cycling Manager 2017?
No, but I
I
wouldn't.
don't think you mentioned it.
Yeah,
but I, don't
I
know
wouldn't
how
call
much you need
those
to-
bad because those just
Yeah.
weren't our cup of tea.
Yeah, but Pro Cycling Manager 2017 was the driest game I played.
Yeah, it's everything you could possibly want in a game where you are not even actually cycling, but managing a team of cyclists.
Yeah, like if you're really into simulators and cycling, this would be your jam, but none of us are.
Right. And finally, Stardrift Nomads, I think.
I wanted that to be good. It looked real interesting, and then it let me down.
Same here.
It let everybody down. It was just too fucking difficult. You know, to be.
And not
Oh, an
the fun-
Arrowhead.
Oh yeah,
An Arrow-
Arrowhead was the memeiest game of the year.
that didn't actually meme anything, but
Yeah.
it's like. But yeah, that's another one that had terrible controls and not enough options.
Yes. At that point, we're into games that, like, yeah, they have some cool ideas, but not quite the controls to pull them off.
Yeah, and I guess I'll end this with mentioning Fajong. Like,
I want to say it's Fyong still,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, Fyong, whatever.
Flip
Like-
a coin, figure it out.
Yeah, it's like I really don't give a shit.
Yeah,
about-
where the only real crime of that game is that it was way too short and way too simple.
No, the other one was it was obviously designed for mobile, but wasn't on mobile.
Right.
Yeah.
Yet again, you're on the wrong platform.
Oh
friend.
yeah, that's the one that even like warped your window size into something like, okay, this wants to be on a phone. Why isn't
Yeah.
this on a phone?
And here's the thing: it wasn't on a phone. Like, it might be on a phone now, but when we reviewed it, it wasn't on a phone.
Right.
All right, so that was the worst of 2017 from our perspective. Now, how
I
about the...
actually might have more different opinions about what's good.
Yeah, it's like, well, what's good and what's the best? Like, this is in no particular order. You know, it's like we don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
but
I
we
doubt
did...
somebody's going to be putting a, Fragments of Silicon Game of the Year sticker on the front of their box.
If we do this in a numbered order, which we won't, it won't mean that the ones that are first it's best. It's just the ones that we thought of first.
Yeah, it's also I haven't mentioned every bad game we played, like Illville, Return Instructions. You know.
Yeah.
I think
that
I did
one...
get that one.
Yeah, mainly because that one was one I only played.
Yeah.
So.
And like there are some of them that they're bad, but not the oh god please no bad, or they're not the a few updates would make this good. They're just eh.
Yeah, it's like there are more bad here. It's just I kind of want to move on to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and among the good, among the greats, we do have a few games here that are hitting other lists, like A Hat in Time. Like, there's been a lot of raving over this game. I gotta admit, I don't get it to a certain degree.
Like, I wasn't a big fan of the controls of The Hat in Time. Like, I'm sure if I had more time to sit down with it, I might have figured it out, but...
I think a lot of the hype for A Hat in Time is effectively, or at least partially, backlash hype for Yooka-Laylee because it has...
That's what I'm getting.
Better stage design and a more charming concept to some extent.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Like, it seems like everyone's kind of gravitating towards this because it's the kind of game that they wished Yooka-Laylee was. I'm like, and I'll be honest, I don't have an opinion on Yooka-Laylee because I didn't buy it. I haven't played it. Like,
I personally think A Hat in Time has some pretty significant issues, but it's still a really fun game. It has a lot of heart, even though it's kind of short.
But I mean, like Zero Punctuation named it its second best game of the year, among others. Like, obviously, it's not the best platformer of the year. That's Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, I think if people were saying that this is better than Odyssey, would be run out of town.
Yeah, it's like, we're not saying that. It is one of the better games we played this year. I'm just not, I reckon, it's got some indie flaws to it. Like, it's got some lack of polish that I noticed. I don't hold that against this because a 3D platformer is so much harder to make than a 2D platformer. Like, oh god, no. The Inner World series and Thimbleweed Park.
There were some pretty good adventure games this year.
Yeah, I don't think we reviewed as many adventure games this year as we did last year, but what we did review was really, really good. Not including visual novels with that, because those are two distinct genres.
Yeah, adventure games have more actual gameplay. A lot of visual novels, especially other ones we review, have very little actual, input to them. It's mostly just the point of the game is to see the story and hear the dialogue and
yeah,
and pick a route or something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, the Inner World series, fantastic, and Thimbleweed Park are fantastic old school adventure games. I think really only Thimbleweed Park got any real attention this year. Like, granted, the Inner World, the Inner World is a few years old, but I'm including that here because we did review that this year, and we reviewed the sequel that came out. It's like, and if you want to know more about these games, go check out our reviews in our archives.
Yeah, all the reviews should at least be here on Twitch. Yeah,
they're on Twitch. They're on YouTube. We do have MP3 versions of them.
Yeah, I don't know if everything made it to MP3 because I think some of them might had some encoding issues. But if you see them on TalkShoe, great.
Yeah, it's like we care less about the MP3 versions these days because this is, Twitch is our nerve central now. Speaking of games that, there were a lot of games this year that were really, really good, but because of the sheer quality of this year and the sheer amount of games that are coming out, a lot of games didn't get the recognition that they deserved, and none hurt more than Hob.
Yeah.
Mainly
I enjoyed what I played of Hob.
Yeah.
Mainly because the studio that made Hob no longer fucking exists.
Which is always sad.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that because not only did we know them, in fact, the very first game interview I ever did, and this is actually shortly before Knock and Ogre came on board the program. Like, I think maybe the week before, but actually it was the second one. No, but the point is, we interviewed Runic Games over Torchlight.
Mm-hmm.
Torchlight was actually a game that kind of changed the course of the show because I was playing that and I realized, hey, wait a minute, I can interview the people who made this. I'm like, dead serious. That happened while I was playing that, and I'm like, and that eventually led to this show. A long story short. And yes, and new like Max Schaefer there, and Wonder Russell, the PR manager of Runic. And sadly they lost their place of employment this year. And this is kind of what I was hinting at in some of the interviews. Mm-hmm. Like their parent company had decided to go in a different direction, quote unquote. I think it's because Hob just didn't make any waves.
Which, again, really unfortunate because
yeah,
it's a solid game and there are some really creative things, especially visually, with it.
Yeah. So this one especially is because, I knew people who worked on this. We had them on the show, and maintained semi-regular communications. But I'm like, Hob just kind of landed in the market with a thud. Mm-hmm. Like, even if it did well, it didn't do well enough for Perfect World to keep around the studio. So, and on that note, we also have Rock of Ages 2. This was another really excellent title that just kind of thudded.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's like, I don't think it killed the studio or anything like that, as far as I know. But nobody talked about this game like they talked about first.
Mm-hmm.
It was just another one that just kind of got released, and outside of a multiplayer bug that prevented me from playing the multiplayer, it, even though it's a sequel, it's a really creative and unique take on the tower defense genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tower defense tower defense giant stone ball racing.
Yeah, it's like the only other game that's like Rock of Ages 2 is Rock of Ages, and that was probably my biggest overall issue with the game. It was an expansion pack sequel, but I'm like, the game is unique enough where I could let that stand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez. Now, probably my favorite and best game of the year, if I so inclined, was Hollow Knight. Like
Hollow Knight and Owlboy are both on my pretty short list for basically Metroidvanias.
Yeah, Hollow Knight and Owlboy came out last year, but once again, our list includes games we reviewed.
Right, and I couldn't put it on my list last year because we hadn't reviewed it yet.
Yeah, but Owlboy was also similarly not just a good game, but honestly, when we did the retrospective of the episode, it's one of my favorite episodes we've ever done. Just having the maybe not the entire team, but it's our biggest interview. Like, we had seriously 7 people there. We had a good chunk of the dev team there to give us the retrospective on what Owlboy development was. And if you haven't listened to that, I highly recommend checking it
Yeah,
out.
and you can also watch them laugh at me play poorly because I suck at this game.
I mean, it's a yeah.
Yeah. Well, your your gameplay skills are more suited to FPSs.
Yeah, FPS or speed platforming. Give me Sonic, and I'll be like, yay!
Right. Well, I'm gonna I'll see if I can't get what is that game? Freedom Force.
Freedom Planet 2.
Yeah, Freedom Planet 2.
Yeah, I have the first one, so yeah, if we can get that, I'd be down.
Yeah, it's like
Give
I
me a
think
chance at redemption.
Yeah. Let's see. West of Loathing.
West of Loathing was very fun. It's a adventure game RPG dealy, but that's not the whole point.
Probably the funniest game I played this year, and that's actually kind of high praise because Thimbleweed Park was also pretty amusing in its own right. But yeah, West of Loathing, if you're a fan of the Kingdom of Loathing series, West of the Loathing series has a very, very dry wit to it, and that's my sense of humor right there. Mechanically, it's a pretty simple RPG, but otherwise, you're playing this for not even like the story, but you're playing it for the writing.
Yeah, and the experience of, hey, I wonder what would happen if I did that, and the answer is usually something.
Yeah. Let's see. Black the Fall. I'm trying to think if everyone here played it. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I think everybody did.
Yeah. Black the Fall. Yeah. This is the.
I think I might not have. No, I did. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I think everyone played Black the Fall.
Yeah, I played it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. This is a Soviet-inspired puzzle platformer, and I'd imagine it would have gotten higher praise had Inside not come out. That one just kind of sucked all the oxygen out of the air for this kind of game.
Yeah. Puzzle, and again, puzzle platforms is another thing there were a good number of.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, but it does the whole show don't tell way of telling a story that's pretty popular in these things these days, and so on and so forth. And it's got a really, really interesting aesthetic, authentic Soviet visuals done by people who actually lived under the Iron Curtain. I still remember the interview where they mentioned what it was like living.
Yeah, I was about to say that's another interview you should go listen to, please. Seriously.
It's like people think they know what oppression means. Here in the United States, and they're
that's
like,
cute.
It depends. Like, if you're a person of color, I get that. I do, to a certain extent.
Or a really poor person, or
yeah, it's like there is oppression that goes on here, but not like it was in the fucking Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc. Like, just the level of paranoia that they described to us.
Something where literally if you said something wrong, you and your entire family could be killed.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that you see in the dystopian novels and movies. Yeah. But in real life, like, I mean, I know our political situation here is kind of shitty, but yeah, Trump doesn't have a fucking secret police force yet. I say yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, Conarium. Maybe I'm the only one on this one, but I really enjoyed Conarium.
I think
didn't
you were
get
the
a
only one
chance
who
to
got that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to play it like at all, but from what you described it, even if it's not my cup of tea, it's a very good. I mean, it's a it's a horror adventure.
Yeah, it's not really survival horror because
Right.
It's more, if you played Outlast, and that's another one we reviewed. Like, it's just everyone knows what Outlast is. Nobody knows what Conarium is.
I guess
And
if you played the Turing test, it's similar to that, only without the puzzle elements. And
yeah,
what's his
Conarium.
face?
Yeah. Conarium is a horror game, almost walking simulator, but you do have puzzles. It's very Lovecraftian, and I mean
Yeah.
actually Lovecraftian. Like, I wish the interview had gone better, but the guy had such a thick accent, and we were having some some technical glitching there, so it was kind of hard to understand him. Now, but yeah, Conarium actually understands what Lovecraft and Lovecraftian horror actually is.
Yeah.
It's based off of the Into the Mountain of Madness. And it's got actual elder things, and the actual hierarchies that Lovecraft laid out and shit like that. Like, and understanding that Lovecraftian horror usually doesn't involve like blood and guts
or jump scares.
Yeah, granted the jump scares were there, like,
but it's also 2017.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's like, though, if you want your horror survival, look elsewhere. This isn't a one where you can attack or anything. But honestly, there weren't a lot of monsters, like actual monsters.
Lovecraft never really has a lot. I mean, except if you got, like, I don't know, what, the Dunwich Horror or something, or Shadows over Innsmouth. Technically, there are a lot of monsters in those, but the problem is never that there are a lot of monsters that are immediately threatening you. It's just the creeping realization that actually the universe doesn't care about you, and your existence may cease at any time with very little warning.
Yeah. Let's see. Next Machina.
That was the twin stick shooter, right?
Yeah. Yes, that was the twin stick shooter. High quality. Wasn't exactly my cup of tea, but a lot of people like this one. Once again, this is a game that fell flat on its face, to the point where Housemarque has announced that they are not making any more of this kind of game.
Which is kind of unfortunate, because there are very few types of game that the world does not needs people to like. Sorry, I started that badly. It's never a good idea for there to be no desire to make a certain type of game, because it's not about the type of game, it's about the quality, and this one was quality, it just didn't get that much attention.
Yeah. So a couple more and we'll wrap it up.
I'm gonna throw in, even though it was technically an expansion pack, Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment.
Of course.
Not just because it's Shovel Knight, but because I was not the biggest fan of Plague of Shadows.
Nor was I.
The story was nice and cute, but the mechanics were bad. But this one, more than that one was still based on pretty much the same level geometry and stuff, so they were limiting themselves. This one, they cut themselves loose. They changed geometry more. The different suite of abilities you have are more diverse and easier to control, and also very well integrated with the level design.
Right.
So, I think the story is pretty in depth, and it adds a whole other background to the whole thing. So
that also means we are going to review Shovel Knight King of Cards when it comes out this year. I mean, we've reviewed every Shovel Knight thing so far, and it's a free expansion, so why not?
Yep.
Aztez, another game that came out with a thud.
Yeah, I was not a huge fan of that one because I was bad at it, and it's not totally my cup of tea, but I can definitely respect it as like an artistic endeavor, and also as definitely exploring a theme and setting that is not explored very often.
And finally, from my end, I'll name a couple of remasterings: Voodoo Vince Remastered and Planescape Torment Remastered. Like, I found Voodoo Vince to be a very, a competent remastering of a pretty lost, I hesitate to say PlayStation 2 era, because it's an Xbox platformer. There weren't many of those, and that's kind of the reason why not a lot of people played Voodoo Vince back in the day. But it got a second chance, and yeah, it was a pretty solid, pretty unique platformer. Even today, like, Once again, if you want to know more about it, it's one of our longest reviews. Voodoo Vince Remastered.
We also interviewed the creator.
Mm-hmm. And Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition. We actually interviewed the creator of the, not just the people who mastered the game, but we actually interviewed the creator of this, Chris Avalone, this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to have him back from the Pathfinder Kingsmaker thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes.
Yeah, but yeah, Planescape Torment was one of, it's one of my favorite games of all time. So of course I'm gonna name, and the enhanced edition went pretty well. It's like a lot of the enhancements went unnoticed by a lot of people, which is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, because that's it's a pretty old game, but it's had a pretty active modding and development community. So
right, and and unlike say the Baldur's Gate games where they added to it controversially, they left everything here intact. For better or for worse, it is the same game, just brought to modern times. Any last games you all want to name?
I wasn't a big fan of the story, but Dot Hack GU, if anything, just to get us more Dot Hack games. Break them out of the shackles that is the Naruto Ninja Storm franchise.
I'm going to throw in from Petty Fan, Zombital Remastered, because I see him still playing that fairly regularly.
Yeah, it gives me something to do. Also,
you put like 300 hours into that.
So a lot of it's just me. It's sitting minimized.
Well, yeah, it's an idle game.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
It's minimized, or I fell asleep with it on, or something.
Yeah, I know.
Another game that I guess I'm the only one on the team who really enjoyed it. Rise and Shine.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that because a run and gun game where your weapon is the pistol. No.
Yeah, I guess I was the only one, who enjoyed it. So it's like, ooh, I like this. This is good.
Nah, that wasn't on. I didn't think that was good at all. So
different strokes for different folks.
Adam, did you mention Blossom Tales on air?
Oh yeah, Blossom.
We talked about that in the pre-show.
Yeah. Blossom Tales. That's the thing. We did play a lot of good games.
Mm-hmm.
We played a lot of bad games. We played a lot of games this year. I haven't mentioned everything, but yeah, Blossom Tales will end on because, when we reviewed Blossom Tales, it had come out on Steam, and that's a game that hit with a thud until it hit the Switch. Like it came out last month on the Nintendo Switch, and maybe it's not doing gangbusters, but we know. They did say from the sales that it did double the lifetime sales of the Steam version.
Yeah, and I will say, looking back at our records on here, around the time of the release of that, we started seeing a little bit of a surge in views on the review.
That doesn't surprise me because, not a lot of people knew this game was a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's a very 2D Zelda style game.
And if you love Zelda, you'll love it.
And it stars a cute little pixelated princess. So didn't Naka Let's Play either this one or the first one or something?
There is no first one. You're thinking of the series. And no, he hasn't done a Let's Play of this game.
Huh? So, I could have sworn I saw him playing that or something.
You think? But it hasn't happened.
Maybe I'm just mentally projecting because
I know
pixelated girl fighters is totally his thing.
And a Zelda clone. Like this is one of those games that and it's not balls hard or anything.
It's not.
So it's really up Naka's alley. I don't think I've even mentioned it to him or anything, but maybe he'll do it. I don't know what Naka does.
I think he does whatever he wants to do that sounds like a good idea at the time. So
that's pretty much how it goes. So maybe he'll do it after that Toho fan game thing that I'm
Total on.
that I am ignoring because it's Toho and fuck Toho.
It actually has some, from what I'm watching, it has some pretty interesting elaborations and variations on the mechanics of Pokemon, while remaining similar enough that it's like a useful point of contrast.
Anyway, there are more games, both good and bad here, but I kind of want to end it here.
Yeah.
Mhm. I mean, we could talk about every game and re-review it, but then what would the point of having an entire archive of all of our reviews of all of the games be?
Mm-hmm.
That you can go watch anytime you desire. Cough, cough, wink, wink.
Yes. If you haven't done that, it'll fill a weekend, probably more because we talk a lot. Like even
Also,
our
tell your friends. Cough, cough.
Self-promotion.
Total not self-promotion, self-promotion.
Yes. Anyway, so that'll about do it for our first episode of 2018. As I mentioned in the news segment, no MSP this week. Like all Mac has said for the return is January. I'm sure we'll get some a solid date soon because we kind of have to start planning for that if we actually want to have guests for it.
Right.
Yeah. He can't tell us the day before, oh, we're having MSP. How the fuck am I gonna find a guest, dumbass?
Alternately, he can't show up in like 20 minutes and say, hey guys, we're having MSP today. It will be like, okay, I hope you have something to talk about because we didn't know this was happening.
Yeah. So with that in mind, the week ahead, coming up on the Sunday reviews, we have reviews of Mutiny, the visual novel we did an interview about a couple weeks back, and Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy HD, which will actually be featuring some footage and commentary after this, because, as I said, we're kind of ending short here.
Because talking over an Egyptian-themed 3D platformer is something that we can do.
Yeah, it fills the time, and I'm like, I kind of don't want to talk about politics now. Because
it's really hard not to sometimes.
It is. Or at least if we're talking about politics, it's not on the show.
Right.
It's not so much that the show is apolitical, but it's not a political show. If that makes any sense.
It makes sense to me, but I'm crazy, so I'm not sure if you should take much stock in that.
Indeed. Anyway, coming up next week, currently we have planned for our first European interview of the year with I'm probably gonna mispronounce this. Give it the old college try. Fede Saurat of Titutech. Like I said, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Where are they from?
I think England.
Oh, I was going to say that almost sounded like they were from, Hungary or Turkey or somewhere in there.
I'm like, but yeah. We're going to be talking about Oh My God Heads, the latest release from the Square Enix collective. It's a multiplayer affair. Hopefully we can... Oh, no, they're from Spain.
Okay, yeah.
Like
Spain was on my list of possibilities, at least.
Yeah, it's like... Yeah. I don't know why I thought England, but... Like...
Yeah, it looks like Titutech. Which... That's not even easy, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Oh My God Heads... I think we've had it described on the show before. Like, trying to remember. Sorry. Live research. Like, I want to say it's like Poi Poi on the PlayStation. But it might not be accurate. Shit. Yeah, jeez. Anyway, moving forward, yeah, we'll have more research on this in the week ahead. Like, this is kind of what happens when you come back from vacation. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, and wrong window. Eesh. On January 10th, we'll be having Eric Brody of Polynite Games. We're going to be talking about the upcoming release, Inner Space. This is an interesting title. I guess the best word, it's duality. And yeah, it's set in a world where physics are inverted, exploring a setting of interconnected inverted spheres. Each is an interior world of once inhabited islands surrounded by water, where gravity pulls outwards, away from the center, piloting an agile craft. Jeez, frustrating. I hit the wrong button there. It's like, ugh. Hate that.
So yeah, it looks like an interesting game.
Yeah. Geez, I lost it. But yeah, it's about gravity. Yeah, and manipulating that, and it looks very artsy. But like seriously, some of these screenshots look like watercolor paintings.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, we'll have much more on these games next week, and I believe we all got copies of Inner Space. Make sure you have those redeemed by next week, because we are doing a review. And yeah, that'll about do it for this week. And I wish you good gaming.